Hey kids, it's Sebastian and Fly here, hope you're well. You find me still on the wonderful mountain roads in Southern California on the environs of Los Angeles. Today though, rather than doing a straightforward biking vlog, I thought what I'd do is my initial impressions review of the Ducati Diavel. I've been riding it now for a couple of days, so I've got a good feel for it. Obviously I've not been riding it for months and months, but just in sunny weather on these sorts of roads. So I think I've got a reasonable impression of what the bike is like, so I'll stop up, find somewhere to show you around the machine and tell you what I think of it. Stay tuned. So here she is. This is the Ducati Diavel. This one I think is a couple of years old. It's got about 47,000 miles on the clock, so it's been well used. Obviously it's a rental machine, it's not my own bike, but I've been riding her for a couple of days now, so I've got a reasonable feel for what she's like. And in a summary, very, very nice indeed. Bit of a unique category this bike is in. It's not really a cruiser, it's not really a sports bike. It's sort of a, I don't know, the bike equivalent of something like, I always think, an AC Cobra type car. It's just sort of a muscle bike really. It's got an 1198 Testa engine in it, which is the same engine as in the Multistrada, but tuned slightly different for a bit more, I think, low down grunt. And the thing is an absolute beast. It's got 3 riding modes, urban, touring and sport, and the 3 do make a big difference, much more of a difference than I've noticed, for example, on my GS with the different riding modes. I think the big thing about this bike though is just the way it looks. I mean, the rear end is just fantastic with that massive tyre on the back. However, it doesn't really make the handling bad. It seems to have quite a long wheelbase. I don't know if that's true or if it just feels like it, but actually it handles very, very well around the twisty roads that I've been riding her on these last couple of days. She's got bags and bags of grunt, and if you put her in sports mode and you wind the throttle on, she just wants to rip your arms off. It's just an amazing machine. It's got something like 162 brake horsepower, and I think at the time it was built, it was the fastest accelerating machine you could buy, up to 100 miles an hour. It may even still be that, might even still hold that record, not sure, but certainly it's very, very quick. Seating position is fantastic. Very, very low seat. You sort of sit in the bike. And that means that you feel very stable when you stop. Your feet are flat on the ground with a good bend in your knees, so that's absolutely fine. Some of the features of it that I really like are just the little touches they do. Look at those wheels, they're just so nicely manufactured. Just things like the LED lights at the back just look amazing when they're working, and that big fat tyre is just really mean. So I can't really comment on what she's like to own, obviously, because I don't own it, but certainly riding her, she's fast, she's agile, more agile than she looks, so she looks a big old beast. The brakes are fantastic, these big Brembo stoppers, very, very sharp, they have no problem stopping you whatsoever. The riding modes work well. She's quite comfortable for up to sort of an hour and a half riding. After that I find the old backside gets a bit sore on that seat. I think if I were to get one, I would replace that with a gel seat, if you can get such a thing. Yeah, overall, like it. Very, very nice bike, and I think probably the machine that I'll eventually replace the Street Triple R with. I've been wanting to ride one of these for ages, so yeah, there we go. So that's enough about it. Actually looking at the machine, let's go and ride her. Okay, so one of the first things you notice about the Ducati Diavel when you first get her is the bizarre starting procedure. It's one of these keyless entry things. I've got the key in my pocket. You press down on this button. It brings everything here to life, and we can see some great graphics going on. And then you just flick this up, press the button, and away you go. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Anything coming? I mean, she does feel, you know, a fairly heavy beast when you initially get on and ride. That soon falls away though. I mean, I don't think it is that heavy. I mean, when I say she feels a heavy beast, I mean it doesn't feel as light as an agile as, say, my little Triumph. But she certainly is agile, and she actually is pretty easy to move around when you slow down. It's not as difficult to move as, say, the GS. So I'd put it in the sort of medium category as far as that's concerned. But she rides lovely. She's nice and stable in the corners. I guess that's partly because of the big old rear tyre. And the riding modes, as I say, I'm in sport mode at the moment, really do have an effect on this. Suspension wise, quite a soft ride actually, considering she's such a sporty beast. It's really quite a comfortable ride as far as the suspension is concerned. It's not electronically adjustable, although it's I think it's manually adjustable, but I've just obviously got it in the settings that I picked the bike up with, and she's really comfortable on a long run. So like that. She's pretty straightforward in operation. Changing the engine modes is a bit of a faff with the button. You have to sort of press the indicators once to select the mode you're in, then hold it down to actually select it, if you see what I mean. She certainly sounds nice. What I have found though, driving through central LA these past couple of days, that the engine does heat up very quickly. She doesn't like traffic very much, so if you're sitting in hot weather, I mean it has been in the sort of mid 80s, 90 degrees, so probably not a problem you're going to have in the UK, but she does warm up and you start to get high temperature warnings quite quickly, which is slightly alarming, but I just don't think that's something that's going to happen in the UK. The switchgear itself, although it looks fairly basic, actually has a nice tactile feel to it, so it feels quality. The mirrors work well. As I say, the steering's nice. You have to sort of muscle her around the corners a bit. You have to really give it some counter steering, but that makes her very nice and stable. So I quite like the way she feels handling wise, no complaints. Seat height is really low. You sit in the bike, as I say, so it feels when you stop like this, you feel completely confident that the machine isn't going to fall over. So great bike in that respect, and something I really like about it. In wind buffet, you've got this little shield on here, which I can't imagine makes too much difference. But I actually don't find the wind buffet much at all. Probably in fact less than on my street triple. I don't know if that's because of this big old tank, and that kind of shields you from most of the wind. God, the US do like having long periods on their red lights. Come on, I've got a Ducati, she's getting hot. There's no doubt the top feature of the Diavel though is its grunty old engine. Absolutely fantastic. She goes like stink. In sport mode, if you wind her on, it feels like it's ripping your arms out of its socket. Definitely no lack of power with that 162 horses at your disposal. Absolutely lovely. So if I was to summarise then, just to wrap this quick sort of first impressions review up: comfortable, powerful, mean looking, fun to ride, easy to ride. Really nothing that I don't like about the machine, other than perhaps the fiddly nature of selecting the riding modes. The suspension's soft and comfy, the brakes work superb. It really is a top-notch Ducati, and it's top of my list for machines that I might replace my little Triumph with in the future at some point. So there we are. I hope that's been of some use to you if you've not come across these bikes before. Splendid though they are. Recommend you get out and have a go on one if you possibly can. Great fun machines, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Mr. Flyer. Cheerio.